Hello, Kaladesh is fast approaching, and this is a Commander review for the black cards that'll make a splash in Commander. First up, we have Gonti, Lord of Luxury, and I'm going to be talking about him in another video that focuses on legendary creatures, so go ahead and click on the card to see that video. Live Fast. I'm just going to go through this one really quick because it's kind of like an overpriced Sign in Blood, but it gives you 2 energy. So if we find a need for energy, Live Fast could be a nice replacement for a draw spell like Sign in Blood. Midnight Oil. 2 black, and this is a weird card. It enters the battlefield with 7 hour counters. At the beginning of your draw step, you draw an additional card and remove 2 hour counters. Right. Your maximum hand size is equal to the number of hour counters. Whenever you discard a card, you lose a life. So basically, this comes in with 7 counters. Fine. Next turn, your maximum hand size is going to be 5, but you're going to draw an extra card. The next time, your maximum hand size is going to be 3, draw another card, then 1, and you draw another card. 3 cards over 3 turns, maximum hand size of 1. Well, the only way I can really think about this being great is giving this to your opponent afterwards so that their maximum hand size is 1. I don't know, as long as you're donating things, you should just donate the game away with a Demonic Pact. Midnight Oil might be really cool, and we might find a way to break it, but I don't see how it can replace a Phyrexian Arena in any way. We got ourselves an Aetherborn Marauder, 3 and a black for a 2/2 flying lifelink rogue. And when he comes into play, you get to steal any number of +1/+1 counters from other permanents you control. Now, this would be pretty cool if you could steal from your opponents, but stealing from yourself is okay. I could imagine a build with Mikaeus that has a bunch of Undying things, and the Aetherborn Marauder comes and clears all the +1/+1 counters away. Maybe there's a Marchesa build out there where you have a bunch of +1/+1 counters all distributed around. I don't know. This is definitely going to be a corner case card, and it's going to be sort of a unique and interesting inclusion, but I thought I'd throw it in here. Also, it gives me an opportunity to mention Thief of Blood, because Thief of Blood steals them from all permanents on the battlefield. That includes planeswalkers, that includes artifacts, that includes +1/+1 counters. You should probably see if your meta can support a Thief of Blood, because it's hilarious when people lose all their planeswalkers to this stupid vampire. I kind of got off track, but who cares about Aetherborn Marauder? Go get a Thief of Blood. Metal Spinner's Puzzle Knot. 2 for an artifact. Enters the battlefield, draw a card and lose a life. Sacrifice it for 3, draw a card and lose a life. This is not a good rate. This is 5 mana for 2 cards and 2 life. I mean, you thought that the card I mentioned earlier that gave you energy was bad. This one's really bad, but there can be something said about having an artifact that has a black activated ability. Glissa could be using it. There's other sort of things. It makes me feel like an Ichor Wellspring a little bit, and I don't think it's as good as an Ichor Wellspring, but you might want kind of 2 of those effects in a deck, so I thought it deserved at least a mention. Speaking of all of this artifact shenanigans, what about Marionette Master? 4 black for a 1/3 Fabricate 3. That's pretty substantial. Whenever an artifact you control is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, target opponent loses life equal to Marionette Master's power. This reminds me of Disciple of the Vault. And Disciple of the Vault was super broken. I can imagine stringing combos of sacrificing artifacts over and over again and draining someone out. I mean, you drain someone out really fast with Marionette Master. With all the counters on her, I mean, she drains 4 for every artifact that enters the graveyard from the battlefield. So you just do something like Thopter Foundry Sword of the Meek and just go crazy. Or how about times 7 Thopter Assembly and just win the game draining everyone out. So if there's a cool Esper build that has to do with recycling and recurring artifacts and stuff in this set, I think Marionette Master could be pretty cool. Next up, we have Noxious Gear Hulk. Oh, these Gear Hulks are so cool. I'm so excited to play with all of them. 4 black for a 5/4 menace. ETB, kill something. Oh, it's not even like non-black, non-artifact. It's just kill something. And then if a creature is destroyed this way, you gain life equal to its toughness. Talk about stabilizing on a board. You get a big beater. You kill something. You gain life, and your beater has menace. It has evasion, so someone has to double chump or something. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna kill someone with this in limited. I really hope I'm the one doing the killing and not someone killing me. I'm so excited to play this card. But even more excited, it's an artifact. Black pulls creatures out of the graveyard all the time, but black doesn't have toys that are artifacts too. Gliss of the Trader has another cool thing to pull out of the graveyard. Oh my gosh. Shroom can also deal with this, but as I mentioned in a previous video, I feel like if Shroom's messing around in the graveyard, you should probably just win the game, not just kill something. We have a lot of creatures in black that kind of does this, but Commander's all about going big, so I don't see a lot of people playing Necrotals, but I think I'll see a lot of people dropping Noxious Gearhulks onto the battlefield. Oh, we have another card. Noxious Gearhulk was not my #1 pick in black for Kaladesh in Commander. It's Demon of Dark Schemes. 3 black for a 5/5 flying demon with weird knives and horns. And when Demon of Dark Schemes enters the battlefield, all other creatures get -2/2 until end of turn. Oh man. And whenever another creature dies, you get an energy counter. 2 and a black, pay 4 energy, put target creature card from a graveyard onto the battlefield under your control tapped. Ooh, I love demons, and I think that this demon is particularly cool. Let's break him down. So first off, having this Massacre Worm or Infest effect when a creature enters the graveyard is fantastic. You're going to want to clear the battlefield of tiny tokens, of utility creatures. You might want to mess with combat. I mean, the -2/2 is great. And then it has this weird little energy thing, but I don't think it's that weird. Because Demon produces energy and uses it, I think it balances out pretty well. Another thing you want to note is that it's just when another creature dies. It doesn't have to be from the -2/2. If you kill a creature in combat or anything else, you could just generate energy. Okay? And then the ability to pay 4 energy and 2 and a black to put target creature card from a graveyard on the battlefield under your control tapped. I want you to note a graveyard, and whenever things hit your opponent's graveyards, it's another particularly powerful effect. I am so excited to slot this demon straight into my Shadowborn Apostle deck. Another thing that's great is that Shadowborn Apostles can pull this out at instant speed, so the -2/2 can really be backbreaking. On the downside, the -2/2 hits all creatures, so it will kill all the rest of my Shadowborn Apostles. So I can't just like, oh, I'm going to save my Apostles and hard cast the demon. That doesn't work. So it's a little bit tricky, but I still think it's definitely great. Let's compare it to Massacre Worm, because that's what everyone's thinking. Massacre Worm has the same mana cost. It's a 6/5 but doesn't fly. But the big key difference is that the -2/2 on Demon of Dark Schemes hits everything, and Massacre Worm only hits your opponent's creatures. And that's a big difference. We might want 2 Massacre Worm effects, but if you really only want 1, say in a Mirren deck or something like that, Massacre Worm still holds that top slot. Demon of Dark Schemes might be interesting, it might be less expensive, it'll certainly go in Shadowborn Apostles, and so I'm very optimistic about this really cool flying demon. Thank you very much for watching. This has been Jumbo Commander with a Kaladesh Commander review of all of the black spells. I'm super excited as we get closer and closer to pre-release and playing awesome Commander. Thanks guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.